Well, it's going to be an exciting weekend. Obviously, a lot of things going on. First was Saturday's game being Senior Day, and certainly it'll be an emotional afternoon for those players. Really playing last regular season game in Laban, and then turnaround Sunday, and it's going to be a unique experience. I think we did it 4 years ago. So these seniors had an opportunity to do it once, but obviously the other people in the different classes are going to get an experience that, hopefully when they graduate and they leave Madison and leave our program, it's going to be something that's very special, and looking forward to the weekend, and obviously playing Ohio State, a team that's playing very well right now. They lost a couple tough games this weekend in Duluth, but as you watch it, they're playing well, they're playing aggressive, and so you sort of expect that we got 4 teams now in our league, and the top 7 or 8 in the country, and we're all playing each other, and we got 4 games to go, and so it's going to be an exciting finish.
Questions for Coach? Todd?
Julian, from the last Fill the Bowl that you know, about playing in front of that environment and that amount of people that maybe can help get some of these players ready for what that's going to be, and how they prepare themselves for it.
Yeah, it's, when you step on the ice, you can mentally get prepared and try to visualize what it might feel like, what it might look like. I mean, we've seen games with our men's and or the men's basketball team and our men's hockey team with big crowds, and they've seen those atmospheres. But, when you're going on the ice, it's totally different. But the most important thing is what happens inside the boards. And as the game goes on, I mean, the last time we played, they didn't have the big jumbotron in there, so that's going to give it a different look. If you need to see a replay, or you need yourself on the screen, you just have to look up, and this gigantic thing sitting right there. But you just have to be able to manage things, and again, it's about enjoying the experience and really going out and having fun. And as I've always said, that ability to play free. You're not worried about making mistakes. You're not worried about embarrassing yourself. You're just going out and enjoying the moment. And if we're able to do that, then we'll be able to play up to our potential.
Brian?
Having not seen the games for the most part, how would you say things went Saturday in particular? I mean, after looking at it a second time.
Well, the outcome was the same when I looked at it a second time. That you've been in the business for a long time. I've seen a lot of hockey games, and you could just sense as the game was going on. Some nights you get bounces, some nights you get breaks, and other nights the other team gets it. And so as the game was going on, you could just feel things tilting and getting away from us. But as you look at the stat sheet, you would say, well, the team over there probably won by a handful of goals. I think we attempted 92 shots. 5-on-5, we gave up 6 shots. But the most important thing is, if you can get the puck in the back of the net. We had, in the first 7 or 8 minutes, we had probably 3 good looks. In the second period, we probably had a bunch of opportunities when it was 2-0 to get ourselves a goal, try to create that energy that we needed, and weren't able to do it. And then you give up one little break, and it's all of a sudden 3-0. But you're still in the game from my standpoint. And then it comes down to 20 minutes. Can you get the first one? The first one's going to be the toughest. Unfortunately, we got the first one, but there wasn't a lot of time left. We still had opportunities at the end when we pulled our goalie. You get into 6-on-4 situations. But again, you look at the stat sheet, and when a team blocks 33 or 35 shots, they're doing what they need to do to get to the end of the game with more goals than we did, because they had enough at that point. Now, were they going to sacrifice themselves? And their goaltender played well. So at the end of the day, you look back and you're upset because you lost the game, but you need to move forward. You need to put it behind us and move forward, knowing we're going to get our next 4 games against top 7 or 8 teams in the country, and we have to be prepared to, really come out and put forth the effort Saturday to get things done.
Todd?
When you get the senior weekend, you start to think about legacies and where players fit in. I mean, you've got a couple players that are ranked up in the upper levels of all-time lists here in Abby Rock and Kristen Campbell. I want to ask first about Abby. Among the centers you've had, how does she compare to some of those players that have put up a lot of points, but also have, gone on to do really impressive things after their collegiate careers? Where do you kind of look at her in that class?
As far as comparing other players, that you need probably more time to think about it if you want to start comparing. But I think the one thing about Abby is her ability. She played a lot of hockey against boys growing up, and so she brings that component of a physical play when there's confrontation or there's a scrum or there's a battle. She was used to that coming in here, and then it's her ability to learn from some of the upperclassmen and get comfortable playing college hockey, and changed her role a little bit as she moved through her career here, and now becomes one of the leaders, and certainly one of the leaders on the team this year. If she plays well and she's noticeable in the game, our chances of winning are going to go up quite a bit, and that's no different than some of the other players that have played her position over the course of the time here. There's certain players on everybody's team that, if you say, hey, this player's going to play at a real high level, she's going to get a couple assists or get a couple goals, and then when you look at the game stats at the end, you're probably going to win that game because, she's one of those players that she'll pull people along, and people will recognize, her effort and the way she is able to go. And one thing I think over the course of her career, especially last year and this year, she's been more consistent than she was her freshman and sophomore year. And so she'll be missed because, she plays a lot. She plays in all her key situations. She's on the ice at the end of games. She's in power play. She's in penalty kill. She's taking face-offs when we need somebody. When you lose those type of players, it's challenging, to replace them. And so I'm excited to see how she finishes up her career, and hopefully it's the way she's played most of this season at a real high level.
Can I follow that up? I want to ask about Kristen, you've only had her 3 years, but it's been an important 3 years in the program for her to come in and be what she's been, it seems like. Is that where she fits in a little bit?
Yeah, similar to Abby, the early part trying to just figure out, how we do things in our program compared to where she came from, not only on the ice, but being a goaltender, it's going to be a little bit different. And then, schooling and classrooms and navigating that. And, she did an outstanding job. And then I think, last year, especially, the last third of the season, she sort of locked herself in and got herself in a position and was very focused on what she wanted to do with herself, but more importantly, what she wanted to give to our team. And, those last, several games we played last year, she played as well as any goaltender we've had here in those type of situations under that pressure, gave us our opportunity to win. And, the last 3 games, she didn't let a goal in. And those are remarkable things, especially, you're playing against great teams and you're in pressure games where, if you end up losing, your season's over. So give her a lot of credit to that. And if you've been around her or you've got a chance to talk to her, when you talk to her, you don't get much in because she likes to talk. But she's generally an upbeat, happy person with a lot of energy. And, like I say, she'll usually lead the conversation.
Brian?
Do you expect her back this weekend, Mark?
I don't know yet. We'll see. And, if she's a forward or a defenseman, the answer is probably might a little bit different. But, her position's unique and what's going on with her. So, she's gotten better. She's improving. I know she wants to play, and we just have to make sure that, she's in a position that she's ready to play. So we'll see how the week progresses. We don't play till Saturday, so that gives you an extra day. And so we'll work her out today and tomorrow. We'll give her Wednesday off and then see how she's responding to those couple days.
And with Mackenzie, being the captain this year, how's your relationship grown with her, and what more have you learned about that young lady?
Well, I think, with her, similar, somewhat to Abby, where, came in, high profile, good player, did a lot of great things early part of her career, got more consistent. And, I think with her, it's, her ability to go on the ice in all the different situations and play with confidence. And I think that part of her game has grown over a career here. This year she's having a great year. Does a lot of things, similar to Abby, where she's on our power play. She's killing penalties. She's lugs a lot of minutes in her position, and so happy for her. And again, we want her to continue to play at that level and lead us. Her experience and Abby's experience last year, getting to the end and winning the last game should help us in the next several weekends as we move forward.
George?
Mark, what does this senior group mean to you? I'm not sure if you had much time to reflect on them, but what have they meant to you as a coach?
I haven't had any time to reflect on it. I'm thinking about, what we need to do today in practice. And I'll get more time to do that, but, with most of the kids that we've had, the first thing that sort of strikes you is where did the 4 years go? And, when you recruit these kids and they come on campus their freshman year, you talk to them, you talk to their parents. We always try to engage them from the standpoint of, make the most out of these 4 years because it's going to go by quickly. And when they're freshmen, they look at you like, oh, yeah, right, sure, coach. And then all of a sudden, here we are, and you look at Presley Norby, and it's like, where'd those 4 years go by? So you're happy for them. In all of them, you've seen them grow, you've seen them mature, you've seen them develop into, real nice young ladies. You're excited for their future because I think the whole package of experience that they've had here has developed them, and they're well-rounded. And so as they leave us with their degrees, they're well-equipped to go into their communities, to go into the next phase in their next chapter of life. And as I look at this group, it's really no different than some of the other groups we've had. In fact, most of the other groups where they've had great experiences. They've won a bunch of big games. They've won some championships. They've developed some incredible friendships that will last a lifetime. And those type of things, just put smiles on, people within our organization, the coaches, the trainers, assists our equipment, director of ops, the people that really are hands-on with these kids for 4 years. So, and you get to see them, leave in a real positive note.
And Mark, what is it that makes Fill the Bowl so special?
I think for us, as I watch it, transpire, is just giving the players, not only our players, but the team we're playing against, an experience that for most of the college players on the women's side, they don't get. We just saw the women's national team, play Saturday night in Anaheim and get a chance to play in front of, I think it was 13,000 people, and that was the largest crowd that a national team has ever played in front of. And so it doesn't happen a lot in our sports, especially in ice hockey on the women's side. And so for them to get a chance to go out there and experience, a big-time atmosphere and something they see if they watch NHL games, or they see and they watch some of the women basketball teams draw big crowds. And so it's one of those unique experience, and I give all the credit to our community and our fans, because they're the ones that are willing to support it, and they're willing to come out, and they're willing to buy a ticket and come support our program. And so it says a lot for our community. It says a lot for the hockey fans around Madison and within our state. And I know it'll be just one of those atmospheres that, 5, 10, 15 years from now, those players that are on both benches are going to look back and say, hey, that was one of my highlights in my college career. I got to play in front of 15,000 people. Or if Ohio State says, hey, that was one of the biggest thrills we've had, we get a chance to play in front of that large of a crowd. So to me, that's what makes it special.